Okay. Good evening and welcome to this council meeting of the West Lincoln Council. Today is Monday, March 24th, and this is meeting number 6 of 2025. Please stand if you're able for the singing of O Canada tonight at Smithville Public School. Thank you. So prior to commencing with this meeting this evening, I'd like to make the following comments. First of all, the public may submit comments for matters that are on the agenda to jpaylove@westlincoln.ca before 4:30 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Comments submitted will be considered as public information and will be read into the public record. And secondly, this meeting is being live streamed as well as recorded, and it will be available on the Township's website. We begin our meeting with the land acknowledgement statement. The Township of West Lincoln, being part of Niagara Region, is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hattaway, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The Township of West Lincoln, as part of the regional municipality of Niagara, stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. And Councillor Rayner, you have the opening petition this evening.
Yes, Madam Mayor. We meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and the future and the rights and needs of both individuals and community.
Thank you, Councillor. So number 4 on our agenda is changes in order of items on the agenda, and I normally ask all of Council, but we do have Councillor Bradrick with a resolution this evening. So, Councillor.
Yes, Madam Mayor, that items 18 and 19 be brought forward and dealt with immediately prior to proceeding with the remainder of the agenda.
Thank you. Someone to second that, please? Councillor Chichok, thank you. And that should come up on your screen. Okay. So if you vote to go into confidential, please, councillors. Okay. So do you have everybody? Perfect. Okay. So that resolution carries. I'm going to go to you, Councillor Trombetta.
Question, Madam Mayor. So it was items 18 and 19, which is other business and new items of business?
No, 19 is a follow-up. 19 is follow-up.
So could you maybe, sorry, it looks like.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Riley, you might be seeing the reordering that I had just done live, so it just moved
Okay.
confidential up. Sorry for any confusion
We've
there.
moved confidential forward, and then the follow-up to
Okay.
confidential is number 19.
So that was already preemptively done, assuming that was going to be passed?
I made the
Okay,
motion
that's why it looks
live.
different.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So I am going to go to the motion to go into close, but before that, I am going to ask if there are any disclosures of pecuniary interest and/or conflict of interest. And seeing none, now Councillor Trombetta, will go to you, please, for the resolution to take us into closed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Move by myself that the next portion of this meeting be closed to the public to consider the following pursuant to the Section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001. Item 18.1, Chief Administrative Officer Trooper McBride, confidential report, organizational resourcing. A personal matter about an identifiable individual, including municipal local boards. Advice subject to solicitor-client privilege.
Thank you. Someone to second that, please? Councillor Chichok, thank you. Okay, and vote, please. And it should be in front of you. Okay, thank you. So that resolution carries, and we will move into confidential session. Okay, so we are back in open session. Thank you for that. And for those at home who may have been watching and waiting for us to come back, we apologize for the lengthy discussion that we had, but it was important work that we were doing. I'm going to go to our clerk for the disclosures of confidential matters, please.
Through the mayor to the rest of council, this motion will need a mover and seconder. That administration proceed as directed in closed session.
Okay, so someone to move that, please. Councillor Chichok, and someone to second that. Councillor Maychak, thank you. And will that come up? Okay, great, it'll be up in front of you. As long as, oh, there we go, should be there. Does everyone have it? Yeah. Good, okay, thank you. So that also carries. Okay, so we go back then to close to the beginning of our agenda this evening. Item number 6 is request to address items on the agenda, and although we no longer have anyone with us after that long wait, always on our agenda is an item of 6.7 of the procedural bylaw that allows for the public to speak. And since we don't have anyone, I won't go into that, but there is always that opportunity. Is there anyone, Kevin, online?
Not seeing any, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you so much. There are no appointments this evening, and Regional Councillor Witteveen actually did not provide remarks tonight. He said that he would go into more detail the next meeting, and so he also did not remain. So we'll just take us then to confirmation of minutes. And so, Councillor Trombetta, you have the council minutes from February 24th, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Oh, it's already getting late, sorry. Moved by myself that the, sorry about that. It's usually, this would have been at 6:35, but now it's at 9, so it's a little later.
Oh, dear.
Moved by myself that the minutes relating to the February 24th, 2025 council meeting and the recommendations contained therein be accepted.
Thank you. And someone to second those minutes, please. Councillor Riley. All right. So any errors or omissions in those minutes? It's been a while ago since you looked at those, but I think we're ready for our vote. It's not going to come up? Okay, so it's not coming up. So all in favor of the minutes? Anyone opposed? That's good. Okay, thank you. So those minutes are accepted. We have the public meeting under the Planning Act, the public minutes from March 3rd, 2025, and Councillor Chichok, you have that.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Moved by myself that the minutes relating to the March 3rd, 2025 public meeting and the recommendations contained therein be accepted.
And someone to second those minutes. Oh, dear. Okay, well, we don't know what that was, and nobody seemed to be touching, but we need someone to second those, please. Councillor Maychak, thank you. And is there any chance that those are going to come up? Okay, good. So that time it worked, so good. Thank you. Okay, so under item 10, which is communications, this is under my name, and I just want to take a minute to explain that it's really quite early, but April 28th is actually the recognized day of mourning for people who have workplace accidents or have lost their lives, and that actually is the next meeting night, next council night. So the flags would be lowered before that appropriately, and so we brought the resolution forward tonight. So Councillor Bradrick, you have that resolution, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Moved by myself, 1, that the correspondence received from the Niagara Regional Labour Council dated March 18, 2025 be received, and 2, that the Township recognize the National Day of Mourning on April 28, 2025 and fly all flags on Township properties at half-mast on April 28, 2025.
Thank you. So someone to second that, please. Councillor Riley? Are there any questions about that issue? Okay, so we bring that forward now early as well, because when the flags are lowered, sometimes the public are not always aware of why, and we get those questions, so that you are all well aware of why that's happening. Councillor Rayner?
Just one question. What is the number so far that have, because of accidents?
They didn't provide that information. I don't actually know that, but that's a good thing to look into. Hopefully by April 28th, we'll have an answer as to what those recent stats are. All we received was the request. Actually, they request a proclamation, which we don't do. So we're just doing a recognition and the flag lowering. But they didn't provide stats, I don't think, so.
Yeah, it's just.
You have some?
The only reason that I bring this up is because of the fact, like even recently, there was a few that passed away because of an accident at Stelco. So I know the numbers are climbing. And that was actually a court case that was finalized, and the owners of the company were convicted in court. So, yeah, I'm just curious because it unfortunately climbs every year.
So we should be able, closer to the date, to get more information, so keep that thought, and we will probably add that to something on the
All right.
28th.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the vote should be in front of you.
So we'll add, Madam Mayor, as everyone votes. What I can look up real quick, it says on average about 1,000 Canadians die a year.
Okay, thank you. So an average, I wonder, we may find out whether
Hopefully.
that's up or down over time, right?
Yes, yeah, just
So-
just a quick Google search, that was the
Good,
national
okay,
average.
Thank you. Okay, so item 11 on this agenda are my remarks, and I'm going to start by talking about some of the things that have gone on in the community. Since our last council meeting in February, I've attended the launch events of 2 new women's organizations. The first event was local. The Women's Network is under the umbrella of the West Lincoln Chamber of Commerce, and it's designed to support women who hold leadership positions in local businesses, our business owners themselves, including solopreneurs, our women who currently are stay-at-home moms who may wish to return to work in their near future, or our women holding leadership positions in all other aspects of our community. The second launch event that I attended at Johnny Rocco's in St. Catharines was actually held to initiate the formation of a Niagara branch of a Canada-wide organization named Equal Voice. Equal Voice supports and offers training to women who are already in politics, may at some time in their future be interested in running at a municipal, provincial, or federal level themselves, or may simply be interested in getting involved in a campaign to help someone else. Attendance at both of these organizational launch events was excellent, and both organizations are open to new membership. Earlier this month, I had the privilege of welcoming just over 50 young students from Cairn Christian School as they, in their large group, visited our council chambers, and in a small group of a few students at a time wound their way in visiting my office as part of their morning excursion to thank various workers in our community for the work that they do. Some of the staff, our staff, were on hand to receive thank you letters from various students. It was also my pleasure to take part in the flag raising and the follow-up delivery of meals, the ride-along for Meals on Wheels last Wednesday. It was wonderful to not only celebrate the great work that they do for members of our community, but also to witness the kind and thoughtful interaction that the volunteers have with the residents as they deliver their fresh and frozen meals. I think sometimes those visits are the highlight of many of their days. The week leading up to March break included, in addition to our regular Monday evening meeting, 4 different regional meetings, the AGM and volunteer luncheon for West Lincoln Community Care at Gizio's Banquet Center, and an initial meeting with the new community engagement manager of the Niagara Sexual Assault Center, Tricia Cosgrove. Friday of that same week, Operations Chair Riley and I were able to join staff, Directors Mike DePaula and Garrett Borma, Managers Ray Vachon, Trey Benish, and Jennifer Bernard, and Senior Planner Susan Smythe at Clonbroma for the celebration of Niagara Engineering Week. It was an amazing lunch and also an amazing opportunity for some casual interaction and informal conversation with some of our staff. This past month, I had the pleasure of attending 2 major fundraisers for organizations that support our community. The first was the rescheduled Rock in the Hospice for McNally House Hospice. It was to have originally occurred the weekend of our major snowstorm in mid-February. With the rescheduling of the event, some people were not able to attend. However, the change in date did mean that Councillor Chichak was able to be there. The financial report regarding that event indicated that a much-needed $24,000 was raised that evening to assist them with their ongoing work. The second event was the first of the 2-night Niagara Christian Gleaners dinners. John and I attended the Friday night dinner. I know that Regional Councillor Witteveen and his wife were on the guest list for Saturday, but I'm not certain if any other councillors were in attendance. Did anybody else go Saturday night by chance? Okay. So it took place at the West Niagara Fairgrounds Hall with approximately 340 people scheduled to attend each night. In the written materials and the oral report presented regarding 2024, it was pointed out that a record 3,605,950 pounds of fresh food was processed in the past year alone. So quite an amazing thing. But amazing to me was that translated into 14.2 million servings of food, which landed in 10 different countries, including Canadian North. This hard work was done during over 68,000 volunteer hours. For West Lincoln, among the valuable assets gained by having the Niagara Christian Gleaners situated in our community is the spillover effect from the ongoing respect for this organization and the work that they do. Having them based in our community doing such good work reflects extremely favorably on West Lincoln as a community. As well, the many volunteer opportunities for members of all ages living in our community adds an important aspect to the very fabric and nature, I think, of West Lincoln. These volunteer opportunities help to put a focus of how we wish to be perceived from the outside, that of a warm, caring, and supportive community. And that ends my remarks for this evening. So under number 12, reports of committees, the growth and sustainability minutes from March 3rd are yours, Councillor Chichok.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Moved by myself that the minutes relating to the March 3rd, 2025 Growth and Sustainability Committee meeting and the recommendations contained therein be accepted, and that the confidential minutes relating to the closed session portion of March 3rd, 2025 Growth and Sustainability Committee meeting be accepted, and that the minutes remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemption provided in Section 239 of the Municipal Act.
Thank you. So Councillor Trombetta, will you second those as vice?
Yes.
Thank you. Are there any questions about those minutes, that are the open session parts of those? Seeing none, we're ready for the vote, I think. And did that come up for everybody? Good, okay. Okay. Got everybody? That's good. Okay, so that resolution carries. 12.2 are the Corporate Services Committee minutes of March 17th, and Councillor Bradrick, you have those.
Yes, moved by myself that the minutes relating to the March 17, 2025 Corporate Services Committee meeting and the recommendations contained therein be accepted.
Thank you. And Councillor Maychek, as a vice chair, will you second those, please?
Yep.
Thank you. Any questions or comments about those minutes? All right, so I think we're ready for a vote again. Okay, so that takes us then to item 13, which is a staff report. And Chief Fisher, you've been waiting for a while through confidential and all, so thank you for that. 13.1 is Community and Protective Services Fire Chief Recommendation Report WLFD-03-2025, purchase of a new pumper truck. So we'll put the resolution on the floor, Chief, and then I'll come back to you if you wish to speak. Okay, so Councillor Maychak, you have the resolution?
Yes, Madam Chair. Through myself, the recommendation report WLFD-03-2025 titled The Purchase of New Pumper Truck dated March 24th, 2025 be accepted, and that administration be authorized to purchase by negotiation, Section 10.1 A and B of the Tendering and Purchasing Policy POL-T-01-2015 for the purchase of a new pumper, 2024 pumper at the cost of $935,000 plus HST from Fort Garry Fire Trucks in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Thank you. And someone to second. Councillor Rayner? Okay, so now we're open to questions or comments about the report, but we'll let the chief speak first.
Just very briefly, as you all know, the deputy and I spent the last 3 weeks looking at in-stock trucks that are on the market right now. We didn't find a whole lot, but there was 3 Canadian companies that did. 2 companies were very close in dollar value. Tim ended up flying out to Winnipeg about a week and a half ago, spent a day and a half out at Fort Garry, came back, we sat down and talked about which was the best truck for us, what fit our needs the best, and we got the best for the money that we were paying. At the end result, as you see, the report recommends that we purchased a truck from Fort Garry. Other than that, as I stated in our report, with the unstable market, the new tariffs coming in April the 2nd, you're probably looking at about an increase of about $200,000 in tariffs alone. If you choose to go through RFP tendering process. You're probably looking at about $200,000. We have a neighboring municipality right now, just to give you some ideas. We had a chief's meeting on Thursday, and there's a neighboring municipality in the region that has a truck almost getting complete in the U.S., and they're afraid that they're going to get stung with about $250,000 extra dollars coming in April because they won't get it in Canada in time. So just to give you some insight, I think this is the right way to go. It's a little out of the norm that we normally do as far as purchasing stuff, but to get the best value and save some money, I think this is the right way.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Councilor Rayner, question?
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. We had talked about this and the possibility you mentioned at one of the shows, there may be an opportunity. I gather that didn't come to fruition on this because you found something prior to that?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Council Rayner. The show is the first week of May, and Tim and I both felt what was on the market right now, we would be left behind if we didn't move on the timeline we're moving right now. These would get bought up fairly quickly.
Okay. Again, to the chief, to the mayor, you mentioned that that's normally you go through the RPF method, but RFP method, I should say, but it does say in your report that the method that we're doing right now was previously used in 2006. So we have done this before.
Correct. Back in 2006, the truck you're replacing, we did not go to RFP. I actually bought the truck at the show. So the truck you're replacing we did the exact same thing that we're doing today, back in 2006.
Okay, so one other question I have, you said the price includes customizations. So I gather you went for the heated steering wheel and the CD instead of the 8-track, the auto instead of the standard, power steering and brakes. Just what did you call, what I'm leading to is, what did you call customizations that are specific to the Township of West Lincoln that probably other fire departments may not have? I'm really curious. I got to find out. I guessed at some of these, but there's got to be one I'm missing.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Council Rayner. The custom side of it is it doesn't come with shelving. So the side compartments, we had to figure out how many shelves we would need. It doesn't come with a foam system. It's not standard foam. So we had to have that added in. So there's a couple of things. Hard suction was another one that wasn't added in. So when we sat down and negotiated, there was a number of things that we needed to put in to make it to what we needed. The other thing that's in here is all the decaling pricing is in there too.
The what, sorry? All the decal, like the Roadrunner, like the 68 Plymouth, those things you put on there.
So, okay.
Spinners, everything.
The what?
So you're good, Councilor? Questions have been answered?
Yeah, I appreciate this, and it is a cost savings, but more important than the cost savings are important, but even more important is we've saved 2 years on this. Like this truck is going to come probably within 6 weeks. Is that correct?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Council Rayner. Yeah, we were probably looking at about 4 to 6 week delivery time. Fort Garry does drive it down from Winnipeg.
So you're getting used.
Yeah, so that's normally what happens.
Important question.
You still have the floor.
It's a brand new truck. Why don't we freight it in? Like Manitoba's a long ways away. Put it on a flatbed. What would it cost? $1,000, $1,500, rather than put all that on a brand new vehicle?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Council Rayner, that's what's in the contract right now.
Well, can we change it, Madam Mayor? Is there a motion?
I don't believe that they're going to float it down.
No, we would pay to float it, but I'm saying that's a lot of wear on that's a heavy truck, a lot of wear on the equipment. It's a brand new engine, and we're going to run it for 10, 15 hours, and we're going to put it on a flatbed truck and get it here brand new, and we can break it in the way we want instead of some truck driver whipping down some highway for 15 hours. can I put a motion forward? I know that they don't cost that much to freight, and we're not talking all the way to the other end of Canada. We're only talking a couple provinces over. This can't be more, and the trucking company's right, I used them for my cars. They're right down in Grimsby. I
So
think it would be
let's
better.
take questions first of all, and we can come back to that, okay?
Thank you.
Councillor Riley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I agree with Councillor Rayner. If he wants to put the motion forward, I have no problem freighting this down on our expense. I certainly realize you're not going to be able to renegotiate a contract that's already signed, but if there's an opportunity to save some wear and tear and we get a couple extra years out of it as a result, because I've driven quite a ways out there before. It's there's some smooth spots, but there's some not so smooth spots. So I could imagine driving a vehicle of that size and capacity through some of those areas. I guess the important thing is I really like and appreciate the effort made to support local. You know what I mean? It's not so much local to West Lincoln, but the next best thing in terms of keeping as many Canadian dollars as humanly possible in Canada during these times. As we heard, Madam Mayor, that had this been ordered in the States and certainly wouldn't have been here in time by the April 2nd deadline, we would see at least $200,000, and unfortunately one of our neighboring municipalities is going to be dealing with that. So I think the extra perk here is that there's almost $1 million that is not going to go to our American neighbors there, and it's going to hopefully not benefit their current leader and his agenda, and it's great to see that that money's staying in Canada. So that's all my comments.
Thank you. Councillor Maychak.
Through the chair to the chief, if we were to approve this change or a motion, could it jeopardize the contract? Could it lead to any issues as opposed to you've negotiated a good price, it's coming here? If there are changes, could it create any problems?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Maychuk, I'd have to look at what they would come up with a cost. I would suspect it'll be over and above the $935,000 that you're paying now. So let me see what I can do. I may be able to negotiate that in, but at this point, until I have conversation with them tomorrow, whether or not they would float it down as opposed to drive it down at their cost, I don't know. If they choose to not, I would need council direction to cover that cost or whatever that float cost is.
I think, Chief, that was one of the implications, that it might be to our advantage to do that. So perhaps part of what could be done before you speak with them is find out the cost of what it would be to us. So deal with a company, but you would need two ways. I mean, the difference is if you have a company that we send out to pick it up, then you're paying two directions. If they are doing the same, we're paying two directions, so it's not like, one direction and we're set. So it's a little bit different.
Madam Mayor, I've done that before with my cars. They don't go back and forth. They pick it up, they pick it up on the way back. What trucks like to do is they like to go out to their jobs full and come back with a load. It pays for the truck. So you line up with the trucking companies when they're down in that area. They've got a load empty. Now they want to pick a load up. This one they can bring it back. So this is even better. If the deal is negotiated, delivered here, then they've got to pay this guy to drive it here. They've got to insure it to bring it here. They've got to freight this guy back home on a plane, and the possibility of an accident that could happen that could damage the vehicle or whatever on the way. All these possibilities are eliminated when you have a truck here. So it's a safer way to go, and we would get the truck in mint condition without somebody driving it all over the place.
Okay. Any further questions? Councillor Chichon.
I hear an anxiety around the table also about getting it here as soon as we can so we can admire the decals. So those trucks that go out west and come back aren't always just available to us. So we'd also want to know not only the cost, but also the timing.
Timeframe. Thank you. And Councillor Ruddy, you were ready to speak as well?
Yeah, I think I was part of it. My question, Councillor Chichik covered as far as timing. I think. Oh, no worries. I think through you to the chief. I really think the important part is maybe to have that conversation, as you highlighted you will. And so if you need direction to have that conversation, we're more than happy to provide that. I don't think it hurts anything to inquire as far as what that would look like on their end. Obviously, I think it's, maybe a little unrealistic to expect them to absorb that, but if there's an a la carte option where, oh yeah, we can do that, this is what we've already factored, but you're gonna have to pay the difference, if maybe you can present that difference to us, and if that's not something they offer, then I think at that point, that's the conversation you have to then pursue. And I think as far as what Councilor Rayner's saying, finding a trucking company that's already out there might be easier said than done, but not impossible. So again, I think there's some options there that I certainly would like you to explore if you're willing to explore it. Thank you.
So I'm just going to, go ahead, Councilor Rayner.
The chief mentioned that part of the deal of this purchase is that they deliver it. So we've obviously got a negotiating. I was thinking that it was our cost to ship it here, because when you buy a car normally you have to pay freight extra. So I thought it was already our cost to ship it here. So if they're willing to, give us a break on it because we're willing to freight it, we're going to get even a better deal on this because it's based on them delivering it here. So they've got a lot of incurred costs to get it here that they wouldn't have to subject themselves to. So I could think this would be an excellent negotiating tool. Maybe not the whole amount, but we'll give you, give us 50% or something of what it would have cost you. Take that off what our freight is. We got a good deal.
So I think we have a good deal on a fire truck, first of all. What we just need to look at is whether we need to, again, go through the amendment process or whether we can pass the resolution as it is and then have a further directive to staff to investigate further how it comes. So, Mr. Clerk, it's in your court.
Through the mayor to the rest of council, if council would like to put in the amendment to direct staff to not only obviously purchase the truck and allow these funds to go through, but to also negotiate that, there is the understanding that there's the potential that it won't be possible, of course, but we don't want to slow down the time frame of receiving the truck.
Is that suitable enough to just be a friendly amendment to the motion?
I believe so. And if I could, I do have something written here for the rest of council.
As we've been talking,
As you've been
I hope
talking,
that you had. Okay,
to hopefully capture.
So if it is a friendly amendment, we don't have to go through the amended and then vote as amended process. So please tell us what you have.
That administration be directed to investigate the cost and time frame of freighting in the new bumper truck.
Okay, and that suffices as a friendly amendment if that's okay with our mover and our, okay, so Councilor Maychak, Councilor Rayner, you're good with that? And, okay. So is there any further discussion before we vote? I'm seeing none, so whenever you're ready this time.
Okay, let me just open up the vote.
Okay, it should come to you. It's slow. Oh, there we go. Does everybody get it? Hopefully so. Okay, and that resolution also carries. Good. So we have no reconsiderations this evening and no notice of rescinding. Members of council, that takes us to other business. So, Councilor Maychak, I'm going to start on your side.
Through the chair, I had a meeting following the provincial election with Sam Oosterhoff. He just wanted to express his thanks to the residents of West Lincoln, but more importantly, he reiterated his support of our township, and he looks forward to projects where he could support our local residents and our council.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Braderick?
Nothing at this time, Madam Mayor.
Okay, Councilor
I'll just to backpack a little bit on Councilor Maychak. As we just recently learned, we got another election just around the corner, so April 28th. Keep your calendars available because there's going to be change. Thank you.
Councilor Chichak?
Nothing, Madam Mayor.
Councilor Rayner? Okay, so I just have a reminder, actually to members of council or your family members, especially if you have an older adult living in your family. We have on April 11th, here in the council chambers, our regional police department coming, and the specialists who deal with crime against seniors also are coming to do a presentation. We have a limited number. The police would like to speak to as many people as possible. And so we are asking residents who are interested in saving a seat, we'll put more chairs out. We think that we can hold upwards of about 70, 75 people. And so people are being asked to call Jackie, our secretary, and indicate whether they want to come. So it's 9:30 in the morning, we'll have coffee and goodies. And that presentation is based on actual scams and for lack of a better word, fraudulent purposes, people are targeting older adults. So it might be as simple as a distraction kind of thing, where just recently it was online that a woman had her purse stolen and then her cards used, and she was just trying to help somebody with a problem that they had, and that the partner was taking her purse. So just bringing our older adults up to date and up to speed on the things that are not just broad, general things that they've heard about, but things that are currently ongoing in Niagara. And so we're sitting at about 40 people now, I will say, so anybody who is interested, and we're going outside of our neighborhood as well. So if you have a family member in Grimsby or in Beamsville or in Dunnville, it doesn't really matter. We're just really trying to get word out. And all we're asking then is for people to make sure that we have a chair for them. And so we're asking for registration, which we don't normally do, but that would be the reason for the registration. And I'll leave it at that. Hopefully we'll fill this room and have more people educated about the things that the bad operators are trying to do in our municipality. So there are no new items of business. We've dealt with confidential already. So that takes us down to bylaws. And Councillor Maychak, you have the bylaws.
Yes, Madam Chair, through myself, that leave be granted to introduce bylaws 2025-12, 2025-13, and that 2025-14, and that the same shall be considered to have been read a first, second, and third time with one reading and hereby adopted, and that the mayor and clerk be and hereby authorized to sign and affix the corporate seal thereto, any rule of this council to the contrary notwithstanding, and bylaw 2025-12, a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to sign a lease agreement between Ken Bunicini, Dog Got It Hot Dog Cart, and the corporation in the Township of West Lincoln for a 5-year term, 2025 to 2029, and bylaws 2025-13, a bylaw to adopt the estimates for the year 2025 and to set the rates of the taxation for the year 2025. And lastly, bylaw 2025-14, a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by council resolution.
Thank you. And someone to second bylaws, please. Councillor Bradford, thank you. Okay, and that vote should be in front of you. Did you get everybody? Councillor Chichok, have you voted? Didn't come up.
Oh, good. You boost me. Goes back.
Okay, so that puts it, and that
Very good reader.
council now stands adjourned at the hour of 9:24. Thank you.